Hey guys, Nightfall here, and today I wanted to take a moment to talk about a problem with XDefiant that I know all of us were thinking at some point or another and have yelled at our monitors about, but don't really think about much more than that because we're too worried about trying not to die around walls and hoping our ability actually works this time. I'm talking about footsteps. As you saw and heard on that clip in the intro, I heard absolutely nothing. Sound in FPS games has been something that I've never really seen mastered in any game before. Games like Rainbow Six Siege have struggled with it for 9+ years now, and still fight with it, even occasionally break it from time to time. But this game seems to have a different issue altogether with footsteps. When it works wonderful, but when it doesn't, it's like rolling a dice and seeing what the issue is going to be this time. You either hear no one coming, just like you saw in that clip from before, you can't hear anything because your own footsteps are so loud it sounds like an elephant stampede, or you hear someone coming but you have absolutely no idea how far or from what direction they're coming from, because as soon as you start hearing their footsteps, it sounds like they're right on top of you, and it never sounds like it gets any closer until bam! Phantom rounds the corner with an LMG, and even though you have an SMG with quick draw, he somehow manages to get the jump on you first and you're dead before getting the first bullet off. Cue the skill issue comments. But we all know the audio in this game is a train wreck, and in all honesty, I'm scared to even make this video because I'm worried that it will start getting talked about more and more, and then when they do try to fix it, they end up breaking the whole game. It does need attention though, like careful attention, because it is a key component to playing competitively, and right now, I play no different than if I just play the game with the game sound, or if I just play listening to music over top of it. And it shouldn't be like that. There's no other FPS game that I can play consistently that doing that won't lower my ability to play the game significantly. But I want to hear your feedback. Maybe there's a magical sound setting that I missed somewhere. And by no means am I using some cheap headset or a pair of earbuds. I use the Arctis Nova Pro Steel Series, and I've made my own custom EQs on the DAC for that, for different games. And no matter what I do with this one, it never gets any better. I mean, how can it? Half the time, there are no footsteps to be heard anyway. There you have it. That's my short thoughts on footsteps and the footstep audio in this game. If that's all you came for, you could probably head out now. Just remember to do the whole like, subscribe, comment, follow me on Twitter thing. But if you want to stick around for the encore of this tweet, you might want to grab some popcorn. So over the last few days, this tweet has been gaining more and more traction, with other YouTubers reacting to it, people retweeting it and giving their thoughts about it. And there was one big part of this tweet that I didn't really address in my previous video because it had me so annoyed that I needed a couple days to gather my thoughts. Really, there's two tweets I want to go over here, but this is the first one, and I already made a whole video about it, and if you want to hear my initial thoughts on that, you should go check it out on my channel. But it's the last sentence here that I'm referring to, and it reads, "But if the game isn't for you, that's okay, you can move on." Move on? Not for me. I think I speak for a wide majority of people here when I say we aren't saying it's not for us or that we don't like it. It's quite the opposite. We love it. We just wish it weren't so broken right now and need it to be better. I'll reiterate part of my last take on this. If you know it's on an engine that isn't meant for FPS, but you still released it before fixing a lot of the bugs that you guys knew about in the early beta testing, then I'm sorry, but I don't know how you can say that that's not rushed. That is the definition of rushed. I can deal with new bugs, and I know they take time to fix, and I'm okay with that. It's the constant ones that linger that haven't been fixed for a month or for several months since before the game officially launched that I have issues with. But I digress. The part that has me a little heated still is to move on. And I see a lot of people defending him saying this by saying it's a free-to-play game and so you don't really lose anything if you walk away. I beg to differ. Time is money, and my time is valuable to me. I've invested a lot of time in this game because I hoped it would be going somewhere special, and I still think it could be, but they need to kick it into high gear to do that. But a lot of us have also already purchased things like the battle pass or a skin or even the founders pack. So you can't use that excuse anymore and say it's a free to play game. And sure, no one held us at gunpoint and forced us to make those in-game purchases. We did it with the game's longevity in mind. And to see it going down a dark alley right now, I'm starting to get worried that someone's gonna shank it and take its kidney.
He took my freaking kidney.
But here's the second tweet, and this one's new for me in that I haven't reacted to it, but I did see it earlier this week. But I want to address a few things with this one. He references some guy having no idea how game development works. Well,
here's the thing. I've never flown a helicopter. If I saw one in a tree, I could still be like, dude fucked up.
That clip says it better than I ever could. You don't need to be an expert in something to see the problem. Granted, I didn't see the initial tweet, and this guy may have not really actually been saying anything sensical, but it felt directed at more than just this one guy. This was towards everyone who keeps attacking this game. I'm going to be unapologetically me. No amount of hate comments are going to stop me from speaking the truth about how I feel about this game, and I'm not blame truth. I don't get paid by Ubisoft to glaze this game. I want it to be good though. I want it to be a good game for years to come. So I'm speaking my mind because I know hundreds of you watching right now feel the same exact way. And like I mentioned before, if we just keep telling them, yeah, it's all peachy, everything's fine, they won't ever take problems seriously in the future. We need to keep that fire lit, but also we should keep it to criticism. We don't need to attack people personally. And I'll give you guys my formal apology for making the Stupidville comment about Mark Rubin's tweet. I apologize for that. Things got heated. I got upset. The game is broken. I want it to be good. I shouldn't have said what I said. I understand they're doing their best with what they have, so there's me apologizing for that. But I'm still going to critique the game and try to be as unbiased and objective as I can. The other part of this tweet, though, I wanted to address is when he says, don't disparage my team. They work their asses off just to entertain you. So show some respect. First of all, the respect we show is by playing the game. Just because we're critical of the game doesn't mean we don't respect you or your team and the work they're doing. But this goes back to what I just said. Some people take it out of hand and they get too far with certain comments, and I could see where he's coming from with this. And I know it was just a reply to some dude's tweet, but it still feels like it's directed at a larger number of people. The second half of that, about not disparaging his team, I felt that, and I respect the hell out of him for saying it. Believe it or not, I have a full-time job outside of YouTube and playing XDefiant. I know, shocker, right? But I'm also in a leadership position, and it may not be an executive producer like Mark here, but I can relate to where he's coming from. All of these attacks coming at the dev team for things that are quite possibly out of their control really does a number on their mindset at work, because they see all the tweets and the feedback. And he's showing in this tweet that he's a great leader, that he can recognize this in his team, and this sentence is him publicly sticking up for his team. I bet they came to work the next day pumped and ready to go. Seeing something like that from your leader, from your boss, is uplifting, especially when it's public and there's no corporate talk. It's blunt, it's honest, and it's straight to the point. So respect again for him speaking up like that. Don't think I'm walking back what I said before. This game has issues and it needs to be fixed. And we're bordering on a time frame where it's starting to become unacceptable, where some of these bugs haven't been fixed yet. And the excuse, or whatever you want to call it, about them being so dedicated that they worked on the 4th of July that some other content creators and streamers are throwing out there, big deal. So did I. I worked on the 4th of July. I've worked on the 4th of July almost every year that I've held a job. So do millions of people every year. Just because you worked on a holiday doesn't give you extra respect. Not for me anyway. But after taking a step back from things, I realized that we don't really know a lot of the nitty-gritty details. We don't know how large the dev team is that works on these bugs, and they can be extremely hard to find within millions of lines of coding. We don't know their budget. We don't know their hours. We know none of that. So no amount of ranting will ever get it fixed faster, but we still need to make them aware of issues when they come up. So what I mean by that is I don't want to bash this game day in and day out because I enjoy it occasionally. I'm just going to step back, readjust my expectations for when bugs will be fixed for the foreseeable future, and instead of complaining about things not being fixed every week, it might be every month. That seems like a better timeline. That should give them plenty of time to fix a bug. That's all I have for today. If you made it this far, I have seen a few comments of a couple of you asking if I can make a Discord, and I hadn't really put a whole lot of thought into it, but if that's what the people want, then that's what the people get. So let me know in the comments if you want me to make a Discord where we can all hang out, talk freely about this game, some other games, and whatever. But also make sure to hit that subscribe button, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next video.